Society is overly sexual and I hate it only because of what I've recently discovered. See, as of recently, I've been able to finally control my urges, my desires, my cravings for lust that have controlled me. Literally, they've controlled me over the last decade plus, right? I was a dude growing up, I didn't have much success with women. I was really antisocial. My dad passed away at a very young age, and I closed off from the world through my teenage years. I dove really deep into weed and video games, and my first girl left me for another dude when I was 24. So in my mid 20s, about 10 years ago, I was at rock bottom socially. Didn't have much of a dating life, and I didn't know how to go out and attract a quality partner. And so being in that position, all I really did, honestly, was smoke weed, watch porn, masturbate. And that was really what my sex life and dating life looked like for quite some time. Even when I was in that first relationship, right? I was hyper fixated on porn and masturbation. Since I was like 12 to even in my 20s. So that's already like 13 years of doing it. And then really from there up until 30. So honestly, guys, 20 years, the majority of my life has been spent with porn and masturbation and increasing the use of weed, drugs, alcohol, all this other shit, right? So I've been very conditioned to these concepts, right? And it's not just because of porn. This is not just about nofap and porn. I'm talking about society as a whole, right? You go on social media, you see a bunch of girls fucking twerking. Every other meme page is just ass. You walk around, a lot of girls are just showing ass. A lot of women. You go to the gym, all these girls are showing ass. Like it's at the gym even. It's everywhere, right? You watch movies, clickbait, YouTube. It's everywhere. You literally cannot get away from it, honestly. And if you're already a slave to these urges, you could see why that could literally control your entire life. And what I want to explain to you guys in this video really is like, as of recently, I've overcome a lot of these things, but it was because of a couple different pivotal moments that I did. It wasn't just like one day I flipped the switch and then suddenly it was over. It first started in March, earlier this year. I decided to do 100 days of celibacy. And I'm not saying you need to do that. I just want to explain to you guys the different pivotal moments I had and how they impacted me and how you could ultimately make a decision for yourself about how it's controlling you and how free you could be on the other side of this. But after doing the 100 days of celibacy, while still going out and interacting with the world, like I still went out during that 100 days. I committed to 100 days of celibacy, no porn, no masturbation, no sex, nothing. But I continued to go out and interact with the world. I continued to go out and do cold approach with women 100 days in a row still. And during that time, I also went on a bunch of dates. Like I probably met maybe 8 or so women in that 100 days that I actually had a follow-up date with. All right, I didn't tell any of these girls that, hey, by the way, I'm going to be celibate or anything. I just went into these interactions with an open mind, looking to connect, looking to explore how the date would go, right? And after the whole thing ended, I had noticed something. I had noticed that, number one, most of the women that I previously would have been excited to go on these dates with and maybe would have even masturbated to, or maybe would have hoped to get a lay from, so I could knock that lay count notch off on my belt and have slayed that interaction. Once I took that off of the table and that wasn't even part of the equation, I found myself on a lot of these dates or interactions thinking to myself, this isn't even a girl that I genuinely connect with, right? There was a couple different eye-opening experiences. One of them was I realized this isn't even a girl I genuinely connect with, right? And there's nothing wrong with her. Like I could actually see her for who she is as a human being, not an object, not a whole. I was actually able to see her as a human being. It's kind of funny as I'm saying this, but you don't even realize that how much of your own vision is clouded because of all of this. It's all going to come together by the end of this video, but this is one piece of it, is that you don't realize that a lot of the girls that you're chasing, that you're hoping for, that you're fantasizing, you don't even really want to be with that girl. You're chasing that one moment that you've built up in your brain because of all the content you consume and the lifestyle habits that you have. You've grown accustomed to chasing after that thing. And honestly, guys, it's an infinite hamster wheel loop of bullshit chasing It's really dopamine is what it is. Like, that's one form of chasing dopamine that we've gotten accustomed to as a means of sexual release. It's dopamine and a sexual release of lust in that moment. And honestly, if you've been conditioned a certain way, like how I was, it would also mean sexual gratification, ego validation, confirmation of a certain identity, which wasn't even the identity that I wanted to be. It was the identity that I had created because I had put walls up to protect a previously hurt identity. And I'm saying this because, like, some of you guys don't realize, I didn't realize that nobody talks about this shit online. I don't hear anybody explaining these concepts. I heard everybody explaining the opposite concepts. Don't validate women, don't chase these hoes, stay single. If you fall for the girl or you display your emotions or you really love the girl, she's gonna play you, or you're a beta, or you're a simp, or you're a fucking loser. You're a pussy. Or if you do spill your emotions and she's gonna cheat on you, she's gonna leave you, she's gonna go for the hotter dude, the more successful guy that isn't emotionally available. Right? There's so much bullshit content online about these concepts, guys. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. It's crazy that I've even made a career off of a lot of these concepts. Like, I was so deep into this stuff. I was so obsessed with pickup and that identity and having that success. I built an entire identity and career off of that. Right? And I was very successful with it because there's still a lot of good concepts from pushing yourself socially, working on character development, going out, interacting with the world, connecting with women. Like, there's a lot of good things that I teach. Nothing that I ever taught was malintent, right? It all came from a very good place of wanting to just genuinely help men, because that's what worked for me too. And I still encourage guys to do that. But guys, understand that society as a whole, everything circulates around this idea of sex and sex appeal, sexualizing women and ego gratification, and you're the man if you could get the girl. And it's embedded into so many different areas of the world you don't even realize. Some of it is like, it's so far gone that it's almost weird if you called it out. Like the fact that I said it's at the gym, right? If I tell people, yo, there's like girls showing too much ass at the gym, there's a certain demographic of people that wouldn't even accept that, and they're like, why are you looking at women while you're at the gym working out, right? You ever see these like funny memes where the girls like hate when guys stare at me at the gym, and she's just doing like fucking like the most ridiculous lunge with her ass just like completely out and shit, like it's an exaggerated concept, but it's really there. It's everywhere. It's in the fashion. It's literally in the fashion. Like, girls need to show their ass now. And I used to just be, guys, I'm telling you, it was so bad. After the 100 days of celibacy, I started to bring awareness to it, but it was so bad that even as of recently, I noticed, dude, I can't even walk down the street without scanning the entire environment to find every girl, and then I need to know what her ass looks like through her jeans. I'm just being fully honest. Like, I realized this as of recently. I programmed my brain through pickup, through society, through the sexualizing of the world, that when I go out, I needed to scan the entire environment and look for all of the different women, and I need to know what their ass looks like and how hot each girl is and what the interaction would go like if I were to go up to that girl, right? Now look, I have slowly desensitized myself to that. It's not like that anymore, but that's the whole point of this video, is that we don't even realize just how bad we've been conditioned and brainwashed. Part of it is our own fault. Part of it is just, it's society for it being this way, but it's also on us to do better, right? That's the whole point of this video, is to bring awareness to the urges and the lifestyle and the loop, the infinite loop that you're probably chasing, right? So after I did that 100 days of celibacy, I did reflection on the whole thing too. I started to notice that I became a little bit detached from needing the sex so much. And full transparency, I did go back and experiment after that. And I realized that some of the girls that I was with afterwards would have been the girls that I would be forever just chasing these infinite loops with those kind of women. Not the same girl. I wouldn't want the same girl. I'd want to get that one girl, go do that, slay that, notch on the belt, go out, repeat the process. If I really like the girl, I'd hang out a couple times, make sure she's still kind of like chasing me and really into me. And if she is, that means I'm super cool and I can brag about it to all my friends. But I don't want to be with her like that. If she starts to like me too much, that's going to be a turnoff, you know? And so then I got to go find the next one, and then the next one. And if one of them disrespects me, and then that girl's done, right? Because I can't be disrespected. Only a beta male would do that. You know, God forbid we had a healthy conversation and actually like communicated like boundaries, you know, from a healthy perspective about what should be going on within the relationship. It's crazy to think about, man. Like, this is what society has come to. And I am not saying I'm above any of this by any means. I'm saying I've gotten so lost in these things. So lost in it. And I don't even think that that's a bad thing either. If you're going through it or you haven't experienced it, go explore that, dude. You need to actually go through some of that, because going through it and exploring it will actually give you some degree of certainty in what you actually want later on in life. You can't just be wondering what if the rest of your life. You can't be wondering what if. But I'm just telling you guys, like, as of recently, I'm actually doing the opposite now. What I've concluded from all of this is that the more you condition yourself to something, the more you will crave that thing. It's very simple. And that goes with anything. If I am used to, at night, smoking a blunt, guess what? If at 9 p.m. comes around and I smoke the blunt the last 30 days in a row, I'm going to be craving the blunt tonight, guys. That's just how it is. And then if I give it up for a week, I'm going to be fiending for the blunt because I've been used to having this. Only been a week. But I can also tell you, if I gave up the weed for 365 days, I wouldn't be craving it anymore. I'd actually look at that thing like, dude, those fucking loser stoners over there still want to smoke weed. So unproductive. It can be the same way when it comes to sexual content and porn and lust, guys. The thing is that you think you need it, and when you go like 7 days without it, you start fiending. And so you think, like, when I talk to dudes about them not masturbating or them not like having sex or those kind of things, and I'm not advocating that you need to be celibate, by the way, either. I'm not saying any of this. I'm just telling you, your brain will get accustomed to whatever you feed it. We are an adaptive species, all right? You think you need a certain thing, you don't. You don't need anything in this life. Trust me. Trust me, you don't need anything, and you will be fully content without any specific thing if you go a long enough time without it. Right? And I see a lot of young dudes getting lost in lust, desire, women, porn, masturbation, validation, chasing, all of this shit, man. And again, if you find yourself extremely drawn to it, then maybe you need to explore that. But also, if you're a dude who's already had a decent amount of that, and you're at a point where these things are stopping you from accomplishing bigger goals in your life, like they're a massive distraction at times. Like me, dude, I couldn't even walk down the fucking street. Couldn't even walk down the street. I promise you that will if you've developed that, good luck trying to be happy in a long-term relationship. How the fuck could you be happy dating anybody and get into a healthy relationship when you've been so programmed to all of this other external shit? It just doesn't work that way, bro. And so that's why I'm trying to help you with this. Number one, if you could actually remove and detach from a lot of these things, you'll be a lot more productive in your life. You'll get a lot. How many of you dudes spend so much time scrolling on IG looking at ass? It's ass taking up your explore page. You're jerky at night. You're thinking about some girl. You're swiping indefinitely online. You get one girl. You're chasing after a girl that you know you don't even want. You just want the fucking lust, right? And you've done it so many times already. Like, I know there's a lot of you dudes out there. I've been the same fucking way, man. Been the same way. I'm not even fully healed from it. I need to voice my opinion as I'm going through it too. This is for myself too, man. I'm not a saint. I am not healed, but it's something I'm going through too, and it's worth reporting because I know this will impact a lot of people's lives too. But I can tell you that the more that I detach from it, and the more I become aware internally about all these things, the more productive I become, the more free I become, the more I could genuinely just connect with people, the more I feel confident that I could actually just be committed to a woman and be happy with that shit, be proud of that shit, and not feel this indefinite need that I just need to have this forever eternal burning desire of lust. I'm telling you, setting yourself up to not be able to be happy long term with one woman. And that's a problem. If you genuinely want to have somebody in your life as a quality partner that you could be proud of, that you admire, and she admires you, and you're like, damn, that's my fucking wife, right? And you have a family that you can be proud of as a grown-ass man. I don't see too many people that I look up to that actually have that quality, unfortunately. That's how it is. So that's that's the importance of this concept, is to bring awareness to where you're at in your own life with this, what level you're at with it, how much is it controlling your own life, and if so, you need to slowly detach from that to get a grip on it, man. To be more productive in your own life, but also for your future family. And if you cringe when you hear that, because I used to cringe at that, I say wife, kids, family, ew, loser, what? Or maybe I'm just traumatized because my dad passed away at a young age and I didn't actually see how my mom and dad could genuinely be happy together. So I didn't know how to receive love. And my idea of a happy family is just fucking shit. And then my first girl left me for another dude. So I have trust issues around that shit. And so I closed off and now I'm a dismissive avoidant. So I built up an identity around this idea of just forever just having women chase after me so I could feel cool, confident, attractive, and wanted. You can heal, man. You can detach from whatever's holding you as whatever you're a slave to in your own life. You can detach from that stuff, man. You can rewire your brain. We're not naturally that way. We've just been polluted by society. And when you can withdraw from that and slowly get a grip on these concepts, man, it's very freeing. It's very powerful. It'll make you feel, I feel the most confident I ever had at this point. I feel the most free I ever have at this point. I don't feel like I'm chasing shit at this point. I feel dialed in, really dialed in, really. I felt like I needed to share this with you guys, right? So I hope this impacts you the same way it did to me. All right. If you want to work with me directly, I'll put the link down below. You can check out the new program. All right, guys, that's all for this video. See you tomorrow, fellas. Peace out.